Hey folks, what's here? Welcome back to another Poem Master video, and tonight we have Bianca and Musharna dropping in the game, right? I think it's tonight, let me double check, and yes it is. A lot of banners this month. Thankfully they did give a huge increase in gems to keep up with all these banners. But yeah, a lot of banners this month, and this is another very, very good unit that a lot of people probably will have to skip, unfortunately. Anyways, let's get into this. So, Bianca Musharna, it's a tech unit. So, the main purpose of Bianca or Musharna over here is it's mainly here to set up Psychic Terrain. So for Psychic Terrain, for those who don't know, in this game, all it does is just boost Psychic moves by 50%, right? In the main game is also like blocks like priority moves, right? It doesn't block quick moves in this game, unfortunately. It's only 50% for Psychic type moves, but that's still very, very good, right? Because that's basically like a weather for Psychic type units, which is again very nice. So going over its kit, right? In terms of its stats, it has very, very good HP, right? Well, I wouldn't say very, very, but pretty good HP. Irrelevant attack, decent defense, not good special attack, but then, you know, it's 257, and Braviary, who's a striker, 252. But yeah, not that great. Not that great special attack, but it's solid for, I guess, attack. Well, I mean, now that like now that Mega Altaria set the bar so high for special attack for attack units, it's not that great. Special defense is good, right? And speed not that great. So let's go over its moveset. Sword power, 2 gauge move, 15 base power, and then it increases more the stats are raised, right? 100% accuracy, psychic special. Psychic Terrain sets up Psychic Terrain. Pretty standard, right? 2 uses. You snooze, you lose is the trainer move. Raises defense, attack, special defense, and then sharply raises them if in Psychic Terrain. So if you're in Psychic Terrain, you get all those stats, +4, right? Which is very, very good. And then you got Psychic, which is, 3 gauge main damage move, right? As for the Sync move, it's the more the opponent's special defense has been lowered, the greater the power of this move. Which is kind of weird, because like Psychic doesn't have the best chance to decrease the opponent's special defense. However, you do have Honor Roll 4. So that, increases that chance by quite a bit, right? It does increase that chance by quite a bit. So you also do have this sort of, not only Psychic Terrain, you could also potentially make it, do some damage, and also decrease the opponent's special defense, right? If you want to go in that route. Again, the relatively low speed doesn't make this like that great of an option, but it is definitely something, to consider, right? So anyways, looking at its sync grid, it has a lot of fantastic stuff in this grid. This is another one of those, sync grids that I really, really wished we had like more energy to spend on, because some of these actually cost a bit, right? Like this Impervious costs like 15 energy. A bit much, right? A bit much over there. But again, there's like Impervious is good, but there's just so many great nodes here that you really wouldn't even get to Impervious. There's just so many fantastic nodes here, right? If you look at them like in terms of defensively, like this thing, if you put this on a Psychic team, the Psychic team might be like one of the most tankiest teams in the whole game. And we'll talk about that, right? You got Psychic Terrain, Hit, and Heal. Makes all allied sync pairs gradually heal themselves when you use Psychic Terrain, right? For starters, you got Weird Recovery, which restores your HP every time you take an action in Psychic Terrain, right? You got Weird Shield, which is extra 50% your special defense when the field is Psychic Terrain. Already, 210 special defense. You're getting over 300 special defense over there, right? When Psychic Terrain is active, right? On top of that, you got double regen over here, right? A lot of fantastic stuff. As for some other things, you got sort of synchronized, called mutually assured in this game, right? It's basically synchronized. I don't think you'll ever pick this up. It's not that this is bad. Again, it's not that this is a bad node. It's just that everything else is just so fantastic, right? Unfortuitous 3, moderate good chance of, or 4% chance of, lowering any random stat to the opponent when you use a move, right? These are all nice stuff. Psychic Terrain MP Refresh 3, which is one more than Volkner's Electric Terrain, right? Psychic Terrain Pep Rally, +1 speed to your whole team when you use Psychic Terrain. It's always nice. And then quickly charges move gauge when you're in Psychic Terrain as well, which does, help mitigate the speed issue over here, right? Yeah, again, Impervious, if you really wanted to pick that up, it's just way too expensive, right? And then there are a lot of decent, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are some, options if you want to like do damage with this thing as well, right? Again, to keep in mind, this thing does have a very, very good chance to decrease your opponent's special defense, right? And obviously, the lower the opponent's special defense is, the more you do damage. And on top of that, you also have Brain Teaser, which gives an extra 30% to your damage when you do get -6 special defense on the opponent, which is generally pretty hard to do. You'd probably take the opponent out before you could, get to that -6, unless you're, again, fighting, Legendary Arena. So this would be a really good option for Legendary Arena. Otherwise, not so much, right? But it could definitely do some damage. It's just not, anything insane, right? And then you also have Lucky Entry 2, sharply raises one of these random stats when you enter the battle. And this is kind of whatever. Again, just a lot of these nodes are just so incredibly powerful. You would just never pick up stuff like that, right? And then your standard move gauge refresh for Psychic, stored power, all that stuff, right? And then MP refresh for you snooze, you lose. Yeah, this is just a fantastic sync grid, right? Double healing here. Got move gauge regen. You give speed to your team. Extra 50% of your special defense, which is already insanely high, right? If you just run a team with Musharna, Caitlyn, and Sabrina, right? That would be a extremely tanky team, right? Caitlyn, fantastic tank as well. Sabrina could also tank, quite a bit, right? This team does lacks, physical defense in general, but Sabrina could set up Reflect, right, to help mitigate that. Sabrina also heals, right, with Sixth Sense. This would be an insanely tanky team. Caitlyn, Sabrina, and Musharna are also relatively slow, but you don't have to worry too much about that because Caitlyn gives you a lot of move gauge, and Sabrina also very, very fast, and then Sabrina also gives speed as well, right, with Pep Rally on Reflect. And then if you want to pick up pre-recognition over here, if you have the energy, right, you go with that, or just go full defense, right, if the other speed stuff is enough, right. So yeah, that would make some really, really nice teams. And also if you are a free-to-play player, not that I would recommend you summon on this one, but if you do eventually get Musharna in the future, right, pairing this up with Mewtwo, also very, very good, right, because Mewtwo, damage not the best, but now you got an extra 50% buff from Psychic Terrain on Mewtwo, which Mewtwo has really, really good speed, right, so it does also kind of mitigate the, I guess, issue here with Musharna, relatively low speed, right? If you do also get it's another speed buffer or something like that, right? Fantastic stuff, right? Honestly, this is this and Nate, they're 2 days apart, but it's just night and day, just between how powerful Musharna is and how terrible Nate is, right? But as for the banner, right? It is just a regular Spotlight Scout. But as usual, right, if it's your favorite trainer, if you love Bianca, all that stuff, I'm not stopping you from summoning on this, because this is, objectively the highest. I mean, well, unless it's your, in the future you get a Select Scout, but in general, it's the highest chance for you to get a Bianca. But outside of that, right, there are a few things that I, again, do want to caution you about. Again, the Cynthia Steven banner is coming at the end of this month. Gloria with potentially maybe Zashi and Zamzen. It could also be something else, right? They're also coming, next month, right? Rosanta Seabad's banner is coming back with the Synchron expansion. And then potentially, this year's Christmas units next month as well. I think Alder's banner is still up, right? Really a lot of things do. Nate, I'm kidding, not Nate. It's just, again, very, very powerful unit. There just are, more units that you kind of have to consider first. And also, another thing about Musharna is, if you're, low on units, I do think she's a relatively, higher cost unit, right? Because, it really doesn't help your account that much if you don't have that many sync pairs. She does kind of need a specific set of sync pairs to make an incredibly overpowered team, right? You kind of sort of have to have either, Caitlyn, Sabrina, all that stuff, right? To really, really make it work. And with decent amount of dupes in them as well, right? If you just like pick her out, with a 1 out of 5 Musharna, 1 out of 5 Sabrina, 1 out of 5 Caitlyn, you're not going to do too much there, unfortunately, right? So yeah, I really, really do not recommend summoning on this banner. Even though again, this is a fantastic unit. It's just that it'll be something better that you pick up later on than just going for it, right? But again, if you're like a huge Bianca fan, I'm not stopping you, but also do keep in mind, like, especially if you're free to play, right? The banners later this month, Cynthia Steven, fantastic. Gloria, we don't know how that's gonna be yet either, right? And then also the Christmas banners next month, Christmas banners this month, right? A lot of other things to keep in mind to consider in terms of like, where to spend your gems instead of spending on stuff like Bianca, right? Same thing with, Alicia and Altaria earlier this month. Fantastic unit. However, it is something that I a lot of people say, oh, you always recommend people, summoning on banners and stuff because, I don't know, the NA paid you to or whatever, which is blatantly false. I barely, it's mostly, I only recommend people to summon on either good banners, right? Stuff like, Poke Fairs, all that stuff, or maybe sometimes limited banners, or in the very, very, very rare case scenario, some like incredibly overpowered unit, right? Stuff like a Serena, right? That's on like scope. I rarely tell people, just summon on these, and same thing in here, right? Even though, and this is something else that people say as well. They say, oh, you always say this unit's, you always say this unit's fantastic or whatever. You want to summon on the unit, even though in the specific video, just like this one, again, fantastic unit, wouldn't suggest you to summon on it, right? I'm not telling you guys to summon on these, right? There are great units, but there are also better units. There are also better banners, right? Economically, you have to all put this into consideration when you're trying to go for banners, especially if you are rather limited in gems, right? Again, fantastic unit, not a banner that I would suggest summoning on, especially with all things considered, all the other banners, the nature of Musharna herself, right? The kind of team comp that you kind of have to go for if you really want to utilize her well, right? And she is a bit of I guess more late game, if that even makes sense in this context, right? Rather than something that you could just pick up, if you're new to the game, pick up and utilize well, right? Again, if you really, really want to utilize full potential, you do need quite a few other units at a decent investment as well. So anyways, I personally hope I'm summoning on this banner, right? So tune in later tonight. Hopefully our banner luck is as good, if not better, as the Nate one. And yeah, at reset we will be summoning on this. So good luck to anyone who is summoning, right? Or if you're summoning on any other banner, or if you're not, good luck for, I don't know, doing other stuff in life. But yeah, that's me with this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video. Subscribe to our channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.